Okay, hey everybody, I'm going to be posting this to the page real quick, and we're going to have part two of Galactus today. So, bear with me just a second. I hope you're having a fun Saturday. It's going to be pretty quick. I'm going to leave, after yesterday, I decided that I'm going to leave a bunch of this going. Very simple like it is right now. Okay, making sure it's all good and live and whatnot. And if you see this heart pulsing type thing, it's my stand. I moved it and it's vibrating. It's funny. I have to calm everything down now. That was cool. It gave it kind of this vibrancy thing, a really cool light, and then all of a sudden it started pulsing. I was like, great. Oop, I bumped it again. But no, today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be knocking this out. I'm going to leave these tinies, as I've come to call them. I'm going to leave these tinies as they are, and I'll color them in when I ink them, and I'll doll them up so we have all that. I'm going to make Fire Lord very quick, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a silhouette in here, and I'm going to make it kind of foggy, like it's clogged or fogged up. And the reason I wanted to do that is because of the fact that I wanted it to look like he's trapped in there, and Sue has him all contained and jacked up. So I'm going to draw him in real quick. Arms, chest. There's one of the knees. And we're going to put the other leg down this way. So he looks like he's kind of crouching a little bit. And there we go. There's Fire Lord back there. I know he's really tiny, but you got to understand, he's like thumbnail. So we're going to work on Galactus a little bit, and that's going to be where we're going to go with it today. So what I wanted to do was go in and flesh this stuff out and start getting a little bit more detail on him to finish him up. And we're going to go from there and have a little fun. It's the weekend. But, yeah, all seriousness going into this, I want to finish this up so I can color it and post it for the Kickstarter and for the book, because this one's going to be in the book. This one is going to be in the book. So, as you know, I'm Brad Linder, your friendly neighborhood comic sketch artist of the day. And some people know me as a social media marketer and internet marketer. And I tend to keep that stuff pretty quiet. But you never know what's going to come out. As we speak right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with this threaded version of Galactus, this kind of modern incarnation a little bit, because in his purple armor here, this is going to be the purple and blue typical armor that he wears. He's got this new thing where he's almost cybernetic or bioorganic on the armor. And I'm not going to draw these really clean because of the fact that this is a sketch card. He's got this new look where it's all segmented now. And it's, kind of, I don't know, it's kind of creepy. It's like slinky armor is what my my daughter referred to it as. She said it looks like a big coil. But anyway, yeah, we're going to have a blast with this and knock this out. And I'm going to turn this here because this is the pectoral muscle right here. This is the pec up underneath here, and then the ribs right up underneath here that start. So I'm going to kind of curve this a little bit because it curves like that in the segment from the reference that I used. Which, like I said, I've got like 50 different versions of Galactus that I drew content from. So you guys are going to have to bear with me on that. But we're going to have a good time. So, as you can tell, easy going today. I just want to let you guys know that a very cool young man that has been following me for a while and is a very cool dude, Mr. Brent Fowler. Plug to his book coming out on Kickstarter, going on right now. As a matter of fact, it's about a young lady that gets some mystical powers, and is a fire starter of sorts. And it's called The Last Ember. And it's very cool. I haven't had a chance to read a lot about it yet, other than what I've read in the videos and stuff, because of the fact that I just found out about this thing. And he's got this new Kickstarter going. Like I said, I wanted to give him a shout out because of Comic Kickstarter, and whatnot coming up, and with the revamped site and the new new Comic Kickstarter Kickstarter list. So what we've got going on is, I just wanted to say real quick and say, this guy's got a brand new young approach to a book, and it's really cool stuff. I just wanted to give that shout out because, like I said, in response to the support that I've been getting from mine that's been coming up for the preview this week, yeah, man, I'm just all about it. I'm all back into Comic Kickstarter and getting some books out there and getting the top 10 list back out, and the spotlight and all of that good stuff. The podcast, all of it's coming back up. I've got stocked material out. It's out of the block, man. I mean, it's just crazy how far it goes. Just want to give you guys a heads up, and like I said, check this young man out because he's got a cool collection going on, and he's got a full staff for his comics, which is rare. Most of us are one-on-one types, and that's the way that I like to do it. I have teams that I work with for my books, and I really appreciate that for those guys that take care of me like that. But this guy has got some stuff going on. He's got it going on with this thing, and it's really a shout out. And if you can't do anything else, show some support in the industry and give him a hey, how's your uncle, and go from there and help support this thing. I'm going to be doing a special sketch card for him, and it's not a promotional thing. I offered to do it out of pure kindness for helping out. I'm not getting paid for it. He is not paying me. He did not ask. And as always, I do these things to help support the industry, okay? That's why I'm doing that. Now, just go over to Kickstarter and check out The Last Ember and check it out for yourself and see what you think. And get, like I said, give Brant some props. And if you've got interest in the book and you can afford it, throw some money down too. He's got some really, really cool awards on there. Check it out and see what you got going on. Okay, because I'm going to be doing a lot with this stuff. Not just this particular campaign, but pretty much everybody's top campaign for a while. I'm going to go back into my own listing and pick those out by the ones that I dig. And I'm going to start sharing that. And you guys are going to have to get on board and back me up here because of the fact that we're going to have to show some love to the comic industry. And if you're in my following and my friends and my contacts and whatnot for the internet marketing stuff, yeah, I got some cool stuff coming too for you next week. I recorded 4 episodes of the upcoming Infusion Marketing on the radio. And if you guys haven't heard this thing, man, I'm going to tell you, jump on it. Because if you don't, you're going to be missing out on a lot of cool stuff for your site and your business and your social media and all that other stuff. So I'm back full kill with this thing. I'm so close to getting my sites up, and I cannot wait. Cannot stand it. Cannot stand it. Cannot stand it. So close to getting that stuff done and getting this new book, this sketch card book, out there for you guys to grab a hold of and say, hey, I love it. It's my new Teddy. That's pretty much where we're at right now with this. I want you guys to get that going and come into the fold of supporting the comic industry. And if you're in the marketing side of things, like I said, I get asked all the time, well, how do you do marketing and comic books? I'm like, bite me if you think you have to restrict yourself to one topic. You don't. I work in web hosting. I work in site programming. I work in multiple languages of programming. I've done that for years. And, my business is multifaceted. I'm not just a one-trick pony here, However, comics is a great pony to be riding around on. But, yeah, sorry. I'm having a blast this weekend. And you know what? I don't apologize. I'm having fun. So I want you to have fun too. Crack up, smile, hang out with me. Get this stuff going. And if you got a book check me out on my page for Comic Kickstarter and send me a message over there and let me know so I can put you in the list. Especially if you got one going right now. I'm going to be looking this weekend. I'm going to start building up the new list tomorrow for the website's list and start putting that out. And if you're a follower or a fan of mine, plan on starting to get information about that stuff so that we can start supporting this. Because the number one thing that I hear in comics is, you know, nobody knows who I am, nobody knows my stuff, nobody knows where to find me, and I do all the work, but I'm also a creative, and I don't really have the skills to do that. Well, guess what? You're going to have it now, because I'm going to start training people on how to do that. So I've got the skills to do it. I've helped New York Times bestsellers. I've helped many, many, many people make this happen, and I'm going to help you guys do it too. I'm not playing around anymore. I'm not holding back on this stuff anymore. I want it out there, and I want you guys to benefit from it and get the best value possible, because that's what it's all about for me, is serving people out there anyway. You know, money is a pure side effect of it, and it's a good side effect. I mean, it's like not, you know, leaving me ill or anything like that, you know, because every remedy to everything now has 20,000 side effects on the side, you know, that you hear in the deep broadcaster voice in the commercials. And it's like, you know, if you take this medication, it's going to make your back grow an extra arm, or, you know, it's going to make your eyeball split in half, and you're going to have, you know, this split vision, or whatever weirdness comes out of it, you know. And I'm tired of seeing that happen, and I've been burned too many times in both industries to have that happen anymore. And the knowledge base that I have, I'm going to throw down for you guys, and I'm not going to hold back. You know, it's not come in and get a cool tip from me and then buy my course. It's one of those things where it's going to be, I'm going to give you all the information and the course that if I do offer a course ever, it's going to be one of those things where you can come in and you can really get killer info from behind the scenes, because of the fact that I guarantee you, I'm crunching on my throat drop here, excuse that, but I guarantee you what you're going to have for free is going to be more than enough to ever help your business, more than you ever need. And I'm not going to have any kind of holding back on that stuff and whatnot, because the courses that I want to teach in live projects are going to be to help you get beyond that point. But, you know, I know people that charge $20,000 for courses on what I teach in basic emails, and I'm going to be offering up in these new newsletters and for you guys, and, you know, content for free. So I've been actually begged not to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway, because of the simple fact that I want to put it out there for you guys. So think about that one for a second. You know, where else can you say you got that? And I'm not trying to brag or anything, or set you up to bait you. Check it out for yourself and let it, you know, I'll let the work speak for itself. You guys get this stuff out there. And I know you got comics coming out, and I know you got books coming out, and I know you got all this cool stuff you want to do, and you don't have time to really mess with the business side of stuff. So that's what I'm going to take care of. I'm going to show you how to do that routinely, so you don't have to worry about it. And I have a massive fly in here that I let in when I opened the window for some fresh air, because the temperature dropped here like 20 degrees right before I started. And I wanted to vent the place out, you know, the office, and just kind of get some fresh air in here. And lo and behold, naturally, the 1 second that I open the window, a fly zips in. And it's just like, hey, man, you open the window. Free invite. As I'm going, really? You're going to mess with me right now before I go live. But anyway. See, there he goes. I'll have to get him out of here after I stop shooting. But, yeah, it's just one of those things where I want you guys to really have the opportunity to do what you need to do and be successful, and not have to worry about that, and also not be bullied in this industry, because I know so many people that are, and I know bullying is kind of a political escape route right now with everything, and people are like, man, I don't want to hear about bullying. But no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we have an isolated, monopolized market in comics, specifically in comics, to where, you know, the industry's changing drastically, and the way everything's coming down as of late, I'm not digging it, man. I'm really not digging it, and I'm going to be a spokesperson against that, okay? The whole thing of, you know, Kickstarter going down and using it as direct sales, which I talked about before, and then this other stuff going on of, you know, distributors that shall not be named still boycotting and blocking out independent creators by choice and by setup, by design. It's got to stop. You know, we have a right to have our books out there and published just as much as anybody else without you monkeying it up and fighting us tooth and nail. And I've got some solutions coming up for that. You guys are going to love these. Okay? You're going to see services come up for me that I am working on right now, and it is going to be a game changer. And I am not playing at all here. I am going to come in like a gangbuster, and you guys are going to be able to see it come up. And it's going to change it to where we don't have to depend on that type of approach anymore. So if you want an alternative, that's what we're going to come up with, and that's what we're going to show. Now, I am digging on Galactus here. As you guys can tell, I am really, really pumping this thing out so we can get this going. But you may or may not see this little bump right here in the back. The way I did this for his three-dimensional effect behind the hood. What I did was I went in and put in a line later and moved it up. I need to open that back up. I knew I was going to do that. I double lined. And like I said, this is live artwork, people. Live artwork. I'm not jacking with you. It's okay to make mistakes. You just go back and change it. I mean, until it's inked, it's not written in stone. So go back and change it. Go back and change it. Go back and change it. But, yeah. There we go. That's the way it's supposed to be. All right. So we can see that little edge there. And I'm going to go draw this one in, and I'm going to block it. Bing! It's black. Now, we have that going on to make his fin stand off his head. Yes. All right. But like I said with the industry stuff, you know, I've been fighting this for 20 years, and I am so tired of it. You know, Previews and Diamond, you know, being the same company and all that mess, and having all the horror stories of, you know, well, I couldn't get my book in because they said it was too much. This panel of critiques came back, and I was like, what's going on with that? And they said, well, it's a panel of peers from the industry. Well, guess what that means? That means it's your competition that they're giving those privileges to. They're taking their exclusive contract program customers, like editors and stuff from other companies, and giving them a panel and saying, hey, you guys, review these new books for us as a professional courtesy so that we can see what's going on and we can show you what this book company is trying to do and this book company is trying to do. And you can say that, you know, if it's something close to what you're doing because you're exclusive with us, we'll give you first jump on it, which means if you want to steal that person's idea, you can steal it. So let's do that. And then they give pricing points that are insane, like 5,000 copies pre-sold from a book that has no experience, nor leverage, nor presence. And they put it out there like that. You know, and then they cut into some of the prices. And if you don't know anybody there or anybody in the industry itself that's connected to Diamond Previews, you pretty much can hang it up because you're not going to get in. I know a lot of people do say that that's wrong because they do get in. But I asked them then, I simply asked them, well, how did you get in? Well, I know so-and-so at Diamond, and that's just not true. Well, what did I just say? You know an in. So, you know, and I'm calling it like it is. I don't care if they publish my or they distribute my books or not. I don't care if they push me out there. You know, if they change the market, that's awesome, and open it up, and, you know, they come to me and carry my book to just prove me, you know, prove me wrong publicly. That would be awesome. Great, cool. But are they going to carry my books? No, they've denied me 3 or 4 times. And the reason is because, not because my book sucks, but because of the fact that they don't want it. All right? And allow me to demonstrate something very quickly here, just to prove a point. Let me get into this and show you real quick. Just to prove a point, okay? Here's a proofing copy of Catman, if you guys can see this. Okay? Here's a proofing copy right there. Catman #1, special limited Kickstarter backer edition. This was proof from that campaign. Okay, my book does not have a problem. Okay. There's the Firestorm logo, by the way, if you want to see it. Yay! This is what I'm talking about. And they rejected that book. And they said that it was too close to what they were doing, what Marvel was doing with Black Panther. So you go figure that. You know what I mean? They're blocking people out and just, it's going crazy that way. And I'm tired of all the holdbacks. And I hear these stories all the time. And, you know, it's always something of, you know, your book is too close to this book, or we've already got something in motion in that regard, or we've got something here, or you don't know anybody, so you can't guarantee that book's going to sell here. And basically that's just saying, you know, we don't want it, we don't want it, we don't want it. And guess what's going to happen? You know, you're going to end up hitting it to where you don't have that going on. Because in 2018, Disney's going to their own platform, so they're pulling all their stuff. And in 2019, DC is making changes, which is awesome. And, you know, Previews is going to either have to step up and start talking to the independents and taking more independent titles again and being realistic, or they're going to end up losing their business. Because with Marvel going digital and DC going digital, the digital market has just finally flipped. And that's a huge step forward for us, if you think about it. But you have to think about it in regards to the bigger span of comics evolving and growing. Okay? So, you know, start thinking about that and get your mindset right for what's going to happen with your comic books, especially for Kickstarters and independent publication and, you know, marketing and branding your own books. I mean, they're out there, man. You got to do this stuff, and that's part of what I do. And I want you guys to get it straight real quick that the industry needs independent books. We need digital books. We need print-on-demand books. We need small press. You know, I hear all the time, well, if you're not going to join a big company, you can't be professional and you can't produce a book every month. Well, that's because you're lazy. I'm sorry. I mean, I do day job stuff too. You know, I do this full time, and I have clients that I have to do contract stuff for and whatnot. And I'm telling you, man, if you got time, I wrote 7 titles this month, and I've drawn 3. And, you know, I got multiple titles going on too. Sorry. Multiple stuff, family stuff, life. It happens. And I get told all the time by people that are in the independent creator market, they always start squawking instantly. You know, you can't do that. I wish I could do it full time. I'd have to eat from a day job and blah, blah, blah. And it's just, come on, man. Really? You know, if you love doing this and you want to put it out there and you want to stop the monopoly, then get off your butt and make a comic book. I mean, if that's your thing and you want to do one every 6 months, that's your thing. Cool. I'm not knocking that. But if you want to make a business out of it, you need to scale it up, grow it, and build it out. And I'm just saying. So I've said this on Kickstarter, you know, on Comic Kickstarter a bunch of times. I've said it on Kickstarter interviews. I've said it on Geek Rep back when I had that podcast. It's just one of those things, you know. You guys got to get in gear and start producing and start backing it up. And you can't say, I'm a comic book artist and then not make a comic book but once a year, you know. I mean, if you're doing every step, that's different. Because in Lone Rider, I've done most of it. And, you know, I understand that. If you're doing slow projects, that's one thing. If that's your production scale and that's what you can do, awesome. You're doing your thing. I'm not knocking that a bit. What I'm saying is stop saying that it's not professional or expected to do a comic book on a monthly basis and then call yourself, you know, a high-end professional, because you're not in that regard. You're just not doing the work. And, you know, that's part of it. But then on top of that, we have the Kickstarter issue where everything's going crazy. And, you know, we got some great Kickstarters out there, and then we got some weird ones out there that aren't doing anything and that are being bought out, you know, and selling 300 copies and thinking that they're gods to the industry. But add value to it. You know, if you want to add value to the industry, go on to Kickstarter, find 5 Kickstarters that you like, check them out. Make sure you like them. Make sure you like the story, the artwork, the creation, the title itself, and that you would be a fan of it, and then support that. And that's all you gotta do. If everybody on Kickstarter, for the 30,000 people at average that I heard last of March, were on Kickstarter on the average for comic books. If every backer for those 30,000 backers took $5 and backed 5 books a month, it would blow it out of the water. Everybody would be funded and successful and open. But we've got to break the monopoly in the market and grow the industry ourselves if we're going to make it work. And the only way to do that is support creators. Buy creator stuff and support them. And I'm not saying specifically my book. I'm saying any book, for that matter. Okay, just understand you got to get out there and start supporting this stuff and get it in gear. And if we all do that, we'll crush it, man. We will crush it. So I got to start supporting this stuff too. And I may not financially back your book, but I'm going to be posting all of the new campaigns so that you guys can get the most exposure you can, so that you can show your book off at the bare minimum. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Because if everybody even was to share 5 books, it would crush it. It would crush it. Because everybody on average knows 1,000 people in the social media space. And think about it. If you had just 20 people share with 1,000 people, that's 20,000 people showing your book just from your comic website, your comic Kickstarter, from your social media, wherever it comes from. And nobody seems to do that because we're all about, oh, it's my book and I've got to make sure my book goes better than your book. And I'm like, screw that, man. I'll show your books, you show mine, we'll spread the word, and if people buy it, they buy it. If they don't, that's okay too. But we got to start being community over competition and start promoting this stuff and getting it out there. And I'm tired of people monopolizing it and saying, well, this guy has a comic book and I'm not going to support it because, well, why not? He supported your book, and I don't know how many times I've had some big name people, and I'm not going to point anybody out or shoot them in the foot. I'm not going to be childish like that. But what I'm saying is I've had many people that I've had come to me and ask me for help, and then when I go to them, they act like they don't know me or they're too good to share. I see that all the time. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to share anybody's name or rat them out or be childish about it. You know who you are. I've had credentials stolen. I've had credits from projects stolen. I go in and help people and do stuff and see it fall all the time. Why am I saying that? Because of the fact that you need to be prepared to have that happen, because it's gonna. But the karma of the good is well worth the little bit of bad. I still help people. I've been burned by people that I would never expect it. I've lost numbers of projects. I've lost massive amounts of cash. I've lost paychecks. I've lost rep. I've lost lots of stuff from being scammed, from helping people out when no one else would, and then they turn on me. And we have to change our industry, because we're not about just, Joe Blow comic book anymore. We're about getting it out there and saying, this is my comic book, this is my friend's comic book, this is, because every comic book we promote, it's a shot in the arm to the industry of energy that it needs. Think about that. Think about that. So stop holding back, stop sacrificing friendships for other people's garbage. Don't do that anymore. If you see a comic book that you want to promote from your friend and he asks you to promote his book and it doesn't suck, tell him. If the artwork needs, well, man, I'm sorry, but this really isn't my cup of tea, and tell him why. Excuse me. Tell him, I'm sorry, man, I'm just not, I just don't support books that I'm not a fan of. But then in regards to the same respect, you have to say, is this a project that I can get behind because I want to support my friend and want to support the industry? Or is it because I want to get in there and say, this book sucks and I don't want to have my name attached to it? There's a difference in professional quality versus being greedy with your approach and your credibility and your reach to help somebody out. It just depends. Are you being a jerk about it? Or are you being, professional? And if you're being professional, you will respect that person enough to tell them, hey man, I'm sorry, I can't get behind this book. I just don't dig the art. And, I don't think it's professional enough. But if it's a style you don't like, then man up, help out, push it, and go. You know what I mean? There's a big difference there. So, there's a lot of styles I don't like. I don't like photorealism or semi-photorealism, but I support books like that all the time because I know a bunch of people that do. Ken Lashley, that does a lot of work with X-Men and Marvel stuff and whatnot. He's got a very, very semi-photorealistic style. And, some of his stuff looks like a photograph, and I'm sure a lot of it is. It may be photo reference. But I'm not a fan of that style, but yet I know plenty of people that are, and I support those books because there's a difference between being a style I don't like versus a quality I don't like. Does that make sense? I hope that does. Understand and make clear calls to what you think is a difference between style and quality. Big difference there. But anyway, that's enough about that. I'm going to knock the rest of this out. And you watch out for the next couple of days because I'm going to be putting Kevin's Boba Fett on a special this week, which I finally got time to do. And his Electra, which his Electra is just about done, but I will put in his Boba Fett as promised, and then we're going to go for Mr. Fowler's Last Ember character, and I'm going to put that on. And like I said, this is going to be really, really heavy. I'm going to put it in the card book together pretty soon too, and get that going for you guys. So, a lot coming up this week, a lot coming out. We're going to knock it out and get it going. But like I said, things are going to change, and the new websites are finally revamped. I am so excited about that. I've got that stuff coming up, and I'm trying to get ready for this Kickstarter this week as well, which is going to be phenomenal because I just got that page finished, which like I said, I got it done, was going to start coloring it, and then ended up having a problem with the fact that when I went through, you would not believe it, I found another page that was not inked in the middle of the book, and I was like, I missed one. Oh no. And I had to go color that, of course, or ink it actually. But yeah, that's just one of those things, man. Life happens, but anyway, if you're a comic supporter, get on here and start knocking this stuff out, man, because if you're not, you're going to get left behind, because I'm going to start banding everybody together, and we're going to start knocking some stuff out and go from there, because it's time that the industry took a new step forward for the indie market rather than just the mainstream. And if if you're a mainstream supporter, I'm all for that. I'm not knocking that. I'm still a mainstream fan myself. What I'm saying is we need to get business right with the independent market and stop screwing around. If you're going to go and make independent comics, do at least to the minimum of what Jeff Smith does with his Bone books, or Rascal, or any other of his titles out there. At least get a principal sole proprietorship going, so that you can maintain your business and protect your copyrights and stuff, and separate the creative side against the of the individual versus the company for legal purposes, if nothing else. And I'm not an attorney by any means, so don't take that with a grain of salt. I'm not giving you legal advice here. I'm just telling you, get off your butt and get started with a real business practice, so that you don't fuddle around too much, so you can get in there and get started and get serious, and stop being the knucklehead that says, well, I'm in the indie market and that's the way it works. But, I do 3 pages in 6 weeks, and that's the way it's supposed to be. What? Come on, man. But anyway, I know that's a lot of information I'm throwing at you guys, and it's just kind of a weekend reprieve topic I wanted to discuss a little bit. And I know it crossed a lot, but you know, take it with what resonates with you on this and go from there. And I mean, if you don't want to do any of it and you think I'm full of it, then that's fine too. But at least you heard me out, and I appreciate that. But if you're wanting to make real comic books, start getting real plans together and start producing in a productive manner, with a calendar, with research, with copyrights and trademarks. You know, I copyright and trademark everything I do before I ever touch it in public release. I mean, this book, I've sent copies of it to the Lone Rider book coming out. I sent copies of it in the pencil stage and script stage to my copyright office reps so that I can get all that done. Sorry, I had to take a breath there. But it's one of those things. You know, copyright everything, trademark everything, protect your books, get them all out there, and then show it off. Watermark your artwork if you put it out there. You know, that's another big thing. Watermark your artwork. If you're going to put it out there and you don't want it to go into the public domain, be sure and watermark it. I mean, like this, I really don't care because I'm doing this live on social media anyway. I have the original pieces, so it's not going to matter. And that book's going to be out there for everybody anyway. So I'm not really scared of that. But I'm not giving it out for public use, and I've said that flat out. Every card in this series all along has been mine, and whenever I post it to my YouTube channel and Facebook and whatnot, I let you guys know, you know, this is my page. Don't rip me off. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it anyway, but that's what the legal team's for. But, you know, it's just one of those things to where you got to think for yourself and say, okay, this is what I want to do, and this is where I'm at, and I do want to do this comic book thing, and I'm not going to hold back anymore. I'm going to support the industry by giving as much out of it, you know, from my side as I get out of it for myself. And that's the thing. You got to get, you know, you got to throw in the hat and say, this is what we're going to do, and support it. I see people go, well, you know, I'm not going to support that Kickstarter because I don't like the artwork. Well, that's because you're a weenie, you know. Don't be a wuss about it. Step up and man up and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to support the industry no matter what, and I'm going to find some books that I like and step in there, you know. Don't hold back and disgrace other people and disrespect other people in the same industry. Be the fuel, be the light, step up and say, okay, this is where we need to be, and this is what we need to do to make this industry grow. That's one thing we have the least of in comics, is a common respect for each other. I see that all the time. People are just like, well, you know, this artist sucks. Well, guess what? I think that artist is awesome. I'm sorry that you don't like so-and-so, you know, and that's okay. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. But don't go trash talk the guy because of the fact that he made money and you didn't, and you're jealous of it. You know what I mean? I see that kind of garbage all the time. And I see it in marketing as well as in comics. And if you know what's going on, step up your game, you know? That's a call to action, to step up your game and say, this is what I want to do. I want to serve in this market. This is what I want to do. I want to put out comics. Okay, if you want to put out comics, go put out comics. If you want to make a, you know, if you want to make a website, make a website. If you want to make a comic book, if you want to make a CD, a DVD, if you want to make music, you want to make a movie, you know, an animated cartoon, whatever it is, man, just do it and shut up and leave everybody else alone as far as that goes. I mean, I know that's harsh, but it's true. And not enough people speak up and say that is the problem in our industry. Yeah, everybody's trying to be PR and not leave bad taste in other people's mouths. It's like, you know what? You want to mess with me? Okay. You take this mouthful of mud and say, okay, that's where it's at. You know, if I leave a bad taste in your mouth, sorry, bud. You know, here's a toothbrush. I'm sorry. Go see your dentist tomorrow and move on. But stop bashing and belittling people and start supporting your market. I mean, it's childish not to. And if you're doing immature actions like that, then that's on you. And whatever karma brings back to you is on you. That's on your head. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to shut up now and step off here, and I'm going to go grab some dinner. And then I'm going to come back and knock out some more material, man. But yeah, if you don't dig it, that's fine, but leave it alone because other people do. And don't ridicule other people because of the fact that you don't agree with it. It's their right to disagree, just like it's your right to disagree with liking it in the first place, okay? So understand that and support the industry and the market. That's what I'm saying. Get out there, support a Kickstarter, support some artist today, support some marketer, whatever you want to do. Just get out there and serve somebody and walk up and say, hey, man, nice job. And leave it alone at that. But stop being a pain and stop being so nasty on your social media and stop ripping on people just to rip on them because of the fact that you disagree with what they disagree on. You know, I see it all the time, and it's just crazy stuff. And it's getting old real quick. You know, no matter what you agree, politics, religion, faith, whatever it is, man, if you disagree with it, speak your mind and support your view. Don't bash or belittle anybody else's. And especially with this crap coming back full circle to Kickstarter, we got to stop doing that. You know what I mean? I saw one of my really good friends today post a thing, and he said he's pushing this driving force saying, you know, hey, man, I'm going to be honest. I think, you know, I don't support this Kickstarter because I think their art sucks. Well, if you think their art sucks, that's awesome. Okay, move on. But don't bash it like you do. Because I've seen that, and he knows who he is. And the guy's awesome. I'm still his friend. I still will be. But I'm calling it out flat out. I mean, if you're ripping on somebody, that's just as bad as you calling them stupid or whatever. So stop that. And I'm saying it flat out. You know, if you're on Kickstarter and you put out there, God bless you. Thank you very much for that. Do what you got to do because of the fact that that's a crazy move. And I appreciate and honor the fact that you're doing that. So I'm going to be doing it myself soon. I've been involved with many, many campaigns over the years, and I'm going to consider this done. But I'm going to close with this. If you guys see stuff on Kickstarter, not just mine or anybody else's, go out there and support it. If you do nothing else but other than check it out and post them a hi, how you doing? Hoping you're having a good day, man. Hope you're having a great campaign. Good luck. Then you've done your part and you've participated. If you want to do something that's on the fence, ask people what they think. Put it out there and say, hey, here's a link to the Kickstarter I found. What do you guys think? Am I wrong? You know, or what do you think about this guy's quality here? Make a conversation about it and at least share it, because I guarantee you 10 of the people that see it out of the first 100 will buy into the thing because of the fact that they have a different point of view than you do. It's called visualization perspective, or VP, you know. Think about what's going on with it. You got to put it out there, and it's all about what you see and sink into your head and say, this is the vision I want to see in life. This is how I want to look at things. And then you go off on that perspective and build your outlook in the way you treat people. So, you know, and I know that's deep for a Kickstarter and a deep for a card sketch today, but this is where we're at right now, folks. You know, you got to buck up and participate and become part of the solution, or you're part of the old problem. You know, let's look at it that way. Thanks for hanging out on this one. Thank you very much for finishing up the set. I know it's a Saturday and I ran on way too long, but as always, you guys are awesome. Thank you very much for stepping in. See you tomorrow.